Welcome for landing on this video, and I hope to talk about dynamic paging and make you understand what it is to where the point you can apply this to your own little project that you might have or website that you might have. And this is not so much on how to do a very specific thing, but to learn how it works, and so you can scale it up to whatever project you've got and use this to your advantage. So dynamic paging, what is it and what will it do for you? Now, dynamic paging is very much used to create pages without having to change the actual website. So dynamic paging is to where you load out only the content and the rest is, your remaining website. So if you want to change something, for instance, if I want to add more menu items, I would only have to change it in one place and not have to go through all of the other files to make that change across my whole website. So this dynamic paging is very useful to you as a developer because it makes things easier on the developer, and especially when creating new content for a website. So this is to make things easy to roll out more content more easily and faster. And it is very easy. But first I'll show you the setup of my files. I've got an index.php, I've got an htaccess file, which we'll dive into to make things look pretty, and our pages. So these are separate files, but by any means it does not have to be separate files that you'll be loading. It could also mean that you're loading out data directly from the database, or you could have it to where it loads different websites or something like that. Whatever thing you've got going on for your website, you can make it and scale to that what you need. And I hope you understand that, because it's not so much about specifically creating this example, although it will be available on my website for download pretty soon. So we've got a home, portfolio, about us, and contact. These are not links yet, so let's start by making these into links, and they'll refer to the index.php, which is this current file. And what we'll do is give a get variable. Now this get variable will be visible in the URL, which I'll show in a moment, and we'll give it the value of home. This is so that we can access it later on and make the content on the page change by the get variable. So we'll just copy this to speed things a little bit up, because we'll be needing all the time, because I'll try and cramp this all into one. Oh, god damn it. I'll try and cramp this all in one video. And contact. There we go. And we'll just copy this as well. And what this does when we save this and check it out in a browser is that when we click a link, it will go to index.php and then makes the page variable, or the get variable page, with the value whatever the link says it will be. So obviously these are the respective names of the pages, but you could have it as crazy as you want to make it less guessable, I suppose, for things that will, for scripts that will check your website on security and stuff like that. But generally it's okay to use, kind of these transparent names. It's not really that big of a deal because there's many channels on which you can secure your website on. So what we then want to do is check that variable, and it is a get variable. So we'll make a new variable p for page, and it will get the get variable page. Now if we echo p, it will of course say whatever page it is on. So now we can compare this on an if statement to see if we're on a very specific page, and if it is, it will include one of the files that we've made in the pages folder. So we've got about, contact, home, and portfolio.php. Now these are the respective pages, and I've already made home.php with a little bit of content. So when it loads this out, we'll be able to see that we're on the actual home page. Now we want to use a switch statement for this, because it would be a little bit crazy if we used if statements for each specific page that we have. A switch statement is basically an if statement, but it checks for, you know, a heap of conditions. It will check if it is equal to whatever case is there. Now these are called cases. It's basically an if statement, but case, for instance, home, and then it will do this bit of code. You'll have to break it. You'll have to make the case and break the case, and whatever's in between that will be run whenever it meets the condition home. So now obviously we want it to include our home file. So we'll go to pages and home.php. So whenever the get variable page is home, it will include the home.php file in our folder. So when we go to the website and when we go to home, it will say home page is here, and that is because this is home now. If we change this around, it will not load out that file because, you know, it's not matched up to any of the cases that we've made in the switch statement. So what we also want to do is load out content when there's no defined page, and this you do by doing a default case, and it will basically load out home as well. So we'll just copy this and paste it in here, save it, and check it out in the browser to see if it works. So whenever it doesn't match up to anything that we've got in the cases, it will load out the home page, just to make sure that the user always sees something on the page and not is left with a very awkward empty page. So whenever we've done this, we can, you know, add the rest of it. So we'll just copy this to speed things up, and we'll just change it. Portfolio, about, and contact, and we'll just change that as well. And we'll open those files and give it a little bit of a unique content, just to make sure that we know on which page we are. This is the contact page, and we'll go to portfolio. This is my portfolio, and about me is very exciting. There we go. So we have this, and whenever we go to each of these respective pages, it will redirect us to that specific content. Now this on its own is already a small little website. It doesn't, you know, it isn't pleasing to the eye with all its glorious graphics and all that stuff, but that's not the point. If we were to add a new menu item, it would, you know, change across all pages, and that's what this really is about. So if we make a change to our website will change, but the content will remain the same. Dynamic Pages is all about that. So now let's make the URL pretty. The URL is very dirty and it doesn't look clean. We've talked about this in the HTXS video as well. There's a HTXS video on my channel. You can check that out if you want. And this is basically a regex that's very simple and very unsecure as well, because it accepts all the characters. Now you could make it accept stuff like only numerics or only letters or stuff like that, but you'll have to figure that one out for your own. But for the case of this video, I'll just make it all. But when you do make a website, I do recommend changing it up to where it really suits whatever you need, because it's going to be very like, people could write scripts to test if your website is secure, and stuff like this really gets in there. So do make sure that you change this up to whatever you need instead of just accepting all characters, because that's a very bad thing to do, and you should never directly let the URL do database related stuff anyway to begin with. But yeah, so what we have is a basic rewrite rule that accepts every character after our URL. So it accepts everything after this, after the slash, and then whenever it has another slash, it will go to that specific page. So if we were to go to home, it would go to the home page, but it was already there, so you didn't see it change. But if we were to go to the about page, it would go to the About Me page. This way we've made the URL very pretty instead of very ugly, and that will help you also get higher results in Google search engine and stuff like that. Just makes the website look more complete and more professional, but it will, however, not compensate for any of the technical stuff. So this is something you could do after you've created your whole website. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about these dynamic pages. All for me that rests to do now is just changing up the URLs to where they look pretty, and that's basically it. That's the last step we would do to make these get pages very dynamic and very cool. So I'll just delete this. This was done on a request by someone that sent me a message on YouTube. I had a video over at my Silver Magics channel. Oh yeah, it still does that. That's not very good. What you could do is create a variable that contains your website, your URL website, or you could make a define as well, which is basically a constant that cannot be changed, and just make it like HTTP localhost 8080 and then another slash, and what you would then do is just include that into here. I just forgot what the PHP tag is for only echoing, because there is like some weird PHP tag that will make you directly echo stuff, but I forgot that thing because I don't use it often. And you just echo in the URL like this. It's a bit of an ugly thing to do, but it's okay. And whenever you do that, it will go to that specific URL, and then you've created a nice little dynamic pages system. So I'll put this up for download. You can download it off my Google code or my Google Docs. There will be a website, however, where it will be up shortly that is owned by me, and it will make things a little bit easier and have like a nice layout and stuff like that. But currently Google Docs is the only thing I use right now. Anyway, that was it. 12 minutes is kind of long, I know, but that was the time I needed to explain this. If this learned you something, then I'm glad. Leave a comment, show your support, and I hope to see you on the next video as well.